Hey, you guys. Today I'm bringing to a really special property. It's special to me because it's one of the first properties that I featured on this channel. It would have been back in January, but this time I had a chance to go and look at it in person and get a walkthrough tour. And I'm so glad I did because, as is often the case, the property in person was even better than any photo you could see. So, for that reason, I'm also excited to bring it to you. I hope that you will agree. Actually, it was a pretty popular video that I featured, so I'm thinking that those who watched it back then, I hope that you're back to see it now in person. Well, as in person as you might get to this property. Um, a little bit of a backstory about the property. It is or was owned by three sisters. It's a building that was broken down into three units, maybe at the time of the passing of their own parents. I'm not really sure exactly about that, but in any case, it was in the ownership of the three sisters, and sadly, one of those sisters passed away some time ago. So they put the house on the market. The other two units are not occupied, however, because they're still owned by the sisters, but the sisters do not live in those units. But I think that they are there from time to time, perhaps on weekends. The grounds are really, really well maintained. But yeah, in any case, we're just looking at the one property today. It comes with a garden of about 700 square meters, so it would be certainly big enough if anyone had any designs of putting a pool in. I'm thinking that that could be that it would be pretty easy to obtain a permit to do that. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. I'm actually going to drive you there or for at least part of the trip so you can get a feeling for the surroundings. But it's located almost equidistant between Gubbio, which is a wonderful town in and of itself, and the city of Perugia, which is also a wonderful place. Actually, they're two of my favorite cities right now in Umbria. So in this case, you'd have the advantage of a property fully immersed in nature with spectacular views, as well as being pretty close to cities. It's about 30 minutes in either direction, either to Gubbio or to Perugia. But you'd have the advantage of being nestled between two of these wonderful cities. So for anyone who's looking for that kind of property, I think that this could be for you. The asking price is 150,000. The price hasn't changed. Obviously, these things are open to negotiation. So, yeah, if this is a property that you think could be of interest to you, then stay with me to the end. I think you won't be disappointed. I will warn you in advance that the agent organized a translator to be there to walk through the property with me. What I didn't know at the time was that her German, she feels more comfortable speaking German than she does English. So unfortunately, I just wanted to respect that. So we ended up speaking more German than we did English. I was able to dub over certain sections of the video just so you didn't have to listen to all the German banter. But there were points where I thought that the content of the video was more important than the language we were speaking. So you will hear a little bit of German. I apologize in advance, but I have included translations where appropriate. So I hope that it doesn't bother you too much. So we've just parked the car in front of the house, and you can already see where this house is nestled. It is just such lush vegetation. It's absolutely wonderful to look out onto. Looking at the house from this angle, we can see off to the left side, that's not part of the property that we're looking at today. That is one of the units owned by one of the sisters. And when you park the car, you go out onto this road. It is absolute quiet here. And we are approaching the fence, the gate onto this property. From this point on, it's we're entering the private garden. So this is a gate that only goes to the property that we're looking at today. The garden extends from the door, from the entrance, out to the tree line that you see in the back. And it's about 700 square meters. It's all flat, so you could do with it. It would be very easy to make use of all that space with a vegetable garden if you wanted, or a pool, which I think you would be pretty easy to get a permit for. Look at this old stonework. It's absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful, with the original doors. The inside, however, has been updated over the course of 20 years or so. So off in the corner, you can see the fireplace that was put in. I don't know exactly what year, but it's quite modern, and heats the downstairs. And just like in the photos, it's very light and bright and open. It's just a wonderful living space. And just want to pan over so that you can get a feeling also for the features. This house was updated also to include anti-seismic adaptations necessary. So this house is secure. There's actually no work that needs to get done. There were also solar panels put on the ceiling, and I'll talk about that as we go up to the top level. Here we enter the bathroom. It's a full bathroom. The bathrooms were done over the last 20 years. So all the bathrooms in this house are pretty modern. Here we enter a storage space in the back with direct access to the outdoors. I do believe, though I think it could get checked on, that the wall behind the water tank that you see, I believe that that is not a supporting wall. You could remove that if you wanted. And the reason why you might want to do that is that when we leave this room, we are entering into the kitchen that was put in on this ground level. So if you wanted to take down the wall and open up that space to create a live-in kitchen, you could certainly do that. The kitchen was just put in. It's very new. In the last couple of years, that kitchen was put in. So so you'd actually have a new kitchen. Some of the furniture could stay with the house if you wanted to. That would be upon negotiation. What is staying in are the two kitchens. So there's a kitchen on this level. And then when we head up to the upper level, there is another kitchen there as well. Again, this kitchen, though, down here is very new, was just put in some years ago. So you wouldn't need to do anything down here unless you wanted to take down the wall.
Quello lì era il prete, si chiamava.
I know, for
Si
making
metteva
the bed warm.
Dentro il
Yeah.
letto per scaldarsi, no? Si metteva.
Für unters Bett zu legen, damit
Genau,
man den
damit das
Hintern
Bett ein
warm
bisschen,
hat.
ja, sehr wichtig, ja.
Yeah, it was like this.
So as we make our way up the stairs, we enter into what I think is a really beautiful feature of this house, which is the fact that it's very open and not cramped. You don't have small cramped rooms like you often find in these old farmhouses. I'm showing you the views from this room. It is absolutely just peaceful outdoors. You only hear the sounds of the crickets or cicadas, if there are cicadas here. It's just so peaceful. And panning out, you can look into the neighboring room, which is a kitchen. That's the fireplace, the old fireplace, which is still working. Again, the property, a lot of the items that you see featured are not necessarily being sold with the property, but these things could be discussed with the current owner. So here we head into the open kitchen living. Just funny to look at all of these items that are still left behind here in the house. The kitchen, as mentioned before, is staying with the house. It's in pretty good condition. You might want to add a dishwasher if that's of interest to you. And now let's look out the window so you can see the views out onto the gardens.
Tu che qui spieghi che c'è meno vista, di là c'è più vista anche del paesaggio.
So this is looking over the garden of another property.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think.
this.
I
It's
think
for the-
that
it's
the
for
garden
other
for the
one.
house is over here.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
for the other.
Yeah. But how spectacular is this view?
But this in the morning, you're sitting here, looking there with your coffee, and you're going to say, yeah.
Okay, so you want to
That's
probably change the windows. Yeah.
Questa è la vecchia TV degli anni 60.
The old television.
Oh, that's a TV.
Degli anni 60.
So you know,
Quella
and
mini.
oh yeah, in
From
German,
60s.
in German they would call it a Kiste because it really is just a box. It's so
I
funny.
tedeschi dici una box.
Ah sì, una box.
Sì, una box.
Questa invece è la bascola, dove ci pesavano il grano. Questa per pesare, una bilancia.
Die Waage.
Ich habe ein bisschen Angst.
Ach so.
Ja, ich denke überhaupt nicht an ja. So this is looking down.
Upstairs or downstairs, my man tells me, down there.
You're right, everything is very
Dopo le superfici le hai spiegate, 180 metri quadrati. Qui c'è il pannello solare.
Also alles is, I'm going to show you
okay.
on the other side from outside.
Okay, the shutter is closed in this room.
1 bedroom.
But this is very spacious. This is at least 15 square meters, I think.
Sì.
Okay.
Apro?
Sì.
Yeah.
Ich mach mal auf. Das ist die andere Sicht.
Okay. Ja, ich komme dann. So now we move into the ensuite bathroom. It's a full bathroom. It includes a shower. This bathroom, as well as the other ones in the house, were updated in 10 years ago. So everything is quite new. Of course, you would want to change things to make it your own, but you wouldn't absolutely have to. The bedrooms are all very spacious. They're all about the same size, and they all have views, as this one does, looking out over the hills with just spectacular landscapes surrounding. Moving out into the hallway again, we enter a bathroom which is to serve the whole upstairs.
If there
Here's-
are some spiders, the house is okay.
So I think that spiders are good luck. I mean, when I was younger, I was terrified of spiders, but now, actually, I think they bring good luck.
Ma qui i bagni d'anni sono stati rifatti una decina d'anni fa, 10-12 anni fa.
The bathroom, yeah.
Anche questa c'ha avuto l'adeguamento sismico, la casa.
So here you have a good overview of the gardens.
No, ti ricordi
Yeah.
una cosa?
Sì.
I
L'allarme.
I was just thinking the other house has
10 years
almost
before. The
7
bathroom is
hectares.
10 years before.
Oh,
Die Badezimmer wurden vor 10 Jahren neu gemacht.
wow.
Naja, das
Okay.
haben wir noch.
I mean, die schauen ziemlich modern aus.
Also überall sind die Fenster ja etwas.
And this is
Da
could
oben
be
sind
for
Solarpaneele.
utilities. Ah, so that's what
Schau.
you were saying.
I'm going to show you
So-
after when we are outside.
So electricity is not so expensive then,
No.
or if they have solar. Okay.
Es ist nicht zu
I think this is
dunkel.
wonderful.
Es ist nicht zu dunkel. Denn man braucht eigentlich gar nicht mal die Lichter. Ich glaube, die meisten Räume.
So here we
That's
have,
good. There's
this
an
all
alarm
belongs
system.
to the heart. Okay.
You don't have to be angry.
Du meinst so Angst, oder?
Es kann immer
Dass
mal
man
sein,
braucht.
man weiß nie. Wir
Ja,
sind
was
trotzdem
soll-
in Italien auf den Bergen da. Irgendwann laufen aber ein klein wenig Wölfe rundherum. Aber die kommen nie zum Haus. Aber es gibt Leute, die haben Angst. Wenn man das Wolfgeschrei hört,
Ja,
geht schon unter das Markt.
okay.
Das ist die andere Seite von der anderen.